Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to today's webinar on supply chain collaboration. We're delighted to have all of you join us as we delve into this important topic that has significant implications for businesses worldwide. Before I start introducing our esteemed speakers, I want to talk about some basic housekeeping. This is going to be a recorded session and you will receive the recorded session after the webinar. If anyone has any issues or concern, I request you to disconnect. We will have a Q&A section at the end, so if you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A section and one of our speakers and experts will answer them. Your participation will enrich the discussion and ensure that we all walk away with actionable insights. We are privileged to have three distinguished experts in the field of supply chain who will share their insights and expertise. They bring a wealth of knowledge and practical experience, and their presentations promise to provide invaluable perspectives on different aspects of this subject. I would like to present today's presenters. Prem Trash, who has been working at SAP for the past 11 years, works closely with partners and understands the unique challenges faced by organizations during SAP implementations. He possesses a comprehensive understanding of the platform's functionalities and capabilities, enabling him to provide valuable guidance and support to partners in delivering successful SAP solutions to their clients. He has extensive experience as a former supply chain and procurement consultant, having successfully delivered projects across Europe, Asia, and North America. With his deep understanding of SAP's impact on procurement transformation and supply chain management, Prem is well positioned to guide participants through the intricacies of leveraging the platform for maximum business value. Thank you, Prem, for co-hosting this webinar with us. Next, we have Sridevi Satyagari, an experienced professional who combines business expertise and practical insights to provide valuable services to their clients. With a client-focused approach developed through years of collaboration, she understands their specific needs and tailors SAP solutions accordingly. Sridevi's deep understanding of implementation challenges enables her to create effective strategies, ensuring a successful adoption of SAP solutions and boosting business success. Finally, we have Srini Santhanam, who is a global practice lead in business transformation, renowned for his expertise in procurement and strategic alignment with SAP solutions. With a comprehensive viewpoint and holistic approach, he enables organizations to optimize operations, supplier relationships, and cost strategies. Srini also has presented at various conferences worldwide, sharing valuable insights on leveraging SAP solutions for business success. Without further ado, let's embark on this enlightening journey into the world of supply chain collaboration as we learn from our distinguished speakers and explore the strategies and opportunities that lie ahead. Thank you once again for joining us, and let's get started. Now I would like to hand over to Mr. Srini to initiate the presentation.
Thank you, Nishita. Wow, what an excitement webinar we have. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We're going to talk some more details on how the smart collaboration will overcome all the current supply challenges. Basically, we're going to talk about what is business network, what kind of use cases business network can bring the value to your corporation. And then we're going to talk about the generic flow of the business network and also some of the use cases which SAP bring as part of the business network for supply chain. Once we gone through the complete details there, we would be talking about the forecast collaboration, process flow in deeper. And then we're going to have a live demo about this, how this can interact with the planning system. When we talk about the planning system, your planning sources can be any system. In this example, we took a IBP as an example. We're going to go through some more details there. We talk about it, about how this interact seamlessly and what kind of business value it can bring as part of this kind of real-time integration. And also we're going to talk about some depth of the analytics, more combined with the industry 4.0 functionalities we incorporated, and also we incorporated some of the score models here. We would be seeing extensive forecasting dashboard with how the what if analysis and other aspects. And then we're going to talk about a little bit what value S2 can bring to you for your supply chain collaboration effort. And then we're going to have some detailed question and answers there. So that's what. With that being said, I'm handing up to Prem. Thank you, Prem, for joining this one. We're really looking forward your long-term collaboration here. Thank you for joining with us.
Thank you, Srini. I think everyone here heard about a phrase called Black Swan event. This phrase, coined by the mathematician and philosopher Nassim Taleb, describes a random, highly unlikely event that has an enormous impact. The world of supply chain has been subjected to such events. Consider the following instances: the emergence of COVID-19 that resulted in a global pandemic, causing lockdowns and supply chain breakdowns, an ice storm in Texas, or the blocking of the Suez Canal by the Evergreen ship, further exposed weak sides of global supply chain. In May 2021, Colonial Pipeline experienced a major cyber attack, causing fuel shortages and interrupting critical operations. Lastly, war in Ukraine. This is also impacting a lot of things. Among them, gas prices in Europe, which has a negative effect on production output in chemical sector. The series of disruptive events I just mentioned highlight the critical need for companies to enhance their resilience and adaptability in today's unstable world. That is why SAP has developed the business network concept. Think about it. SAP has millions of customers using their ERP solution, and all these companies can greatly benefit from connecting their ERP to the business network platform. This innovative solution revolutionizes collaboration across the supply chain, enabling seamless connectivity between people, processes, technology, and information. On the next slide, we can see, yes, people ask me, what is a business network? So sometimes customers are using a network and they don't know it yet. So let's walk through a quick history of networks, and it all starts with the pigeon. So we spent a few minutes talking about the troubles of today's world. And I want to relax a little bit and tell you a story, because we mentioned COVID and things like that. So let's go to the next slide, and let's take a quick journey through the evolution of networks, starting with an unlikely pioneer, the carrier pigeon. So yes, the carrier pigeon served as the first business network, enabling multiple entities to communicate with one another. Maybe some of you have visited and have been to Venice in Italy. Some of you maybe seen it in the movies. It's a beautiful, beautiful city, very, very unique. It used to be a home to thousands of merchants back in the day. And these merchants, when they needed to order something from the suppliers or prepare, send them a forecast or tell them that, hey, the ships are coming to bring the goods, they would send pigeons with a small piece of information on it. From the pigeon, from there, we progressed to the postal service, followed by phones and fax machine. Who knows? Maybe there are still people in the audience using fax machines for purchase orders these days. It is okay. I will not ask you to step up and to raise your hand now. It's all good. We keep it a secret. Anyway, after the fax machine, eventually email emerged, and it wasn't seamlessly integrated into the business software. So email is not integrated. Neither is phone, and especially the pigeon. Pigeon is also not integrated to the business software. So to bridge the integration gap, EDI was developed. While EDI provided a system-to-system point solution, it also came with its own set of challenges. It is expensive, it lacks intelligence, has a poor user experience. So to address these limitations, customers themselves started creating supplier portals, customized for their specific needs and for their supplier base. However, we have now discovered an even better way to collaborate across the supply chain, and it's the business network. It represents the next generation in business-to-business collaboration, helping companies overcome the challenges of connecting their people, processes, technology, and information. So let's jump to the next slide. In essence, the SAP Business Network is a comprehensive solution that empowers organizations to streamline their operations, enhance visibility, drive meaningful insights across their entire supply chain. It revolutionizes the way companies collaborate and solve complex business challenges. So we have been talking at SAP about Business Network for a few years now. Some people consider Business Network as a new thing in SAP, but it is not. SAP ERP is being used by millions of companies around the world today. Same thing with the network. Moreover, we do provide matched breadth and depth of business process collaboration across procurement, supply chain, logistics, assets management, finance with Taulia, and talent with Fieldglass. And we help companies digitize these key business processes across all supply chains, making these processes more transparent, giving them data and visibility, which later on allows them to tackle those challenges that we talked about in the beginning. So take a look at the slide. The network consists not only of suppliers and buyers. For instance, we also need on the network the logistics providers, just to be able to manage and track our shipments. We need finance-related solutions to allow better cash flow management for our suppliers who would like to get paid quicker. If we need to find new suppliers, there's a trading partner directory available where we can go and search for new companies and order materials and goods from them. On the other side of the network, when it comes to suppliers, all suppliers can connect to as many buyers as they please from a single account. That is what the network is about, after all. So, if you are seeking a transformative approach to connect and collaborate effectively with your suppliers and partners, SAP Business Network is the answer. It offers a truly integrated and intelligent platform to unlock new possibilities for your business. So let's go to the next slide and let's dive into the business value. So a prime example of the business value delivered from an efficiently running business network is showcased through a recent customer implementation I was part of. This customer recognized the potential to reduce costs related to storing and keeping inventory and got the SAP Business Network to facilitate growth and streamline supplier interactions. The customer was struggling with high cost for warehousing facilities. Right now, thanks to the network, the customer relies on having most of the inventory stored actually at the supplier side and getting the material, if needed, through land-based transportation using trucks. The transport itself takes about 1 to 4 hours from the moment when the purchase order or scheduling agreement is sent through the network to the supplier. So everything starts from MRP run in SAP, where SAP automatically sending scheduling agreements with schedule updates to suppliers through the network. Then the suppliers receive these scheduling agreements with new schedules, and suppliers dispatch physical deliveries accompanied by a digital document called Advanced Ship Notice, sent through the network, which is creating an inbound delivery record in SAP, where the receiving team is following the process further and creates a goods entry. So the customer is live for 3 months, has 40 supplies on the network and keeps adding more. Soon we will be releasing a press release with that customer to elaborate more on how they benefit from the network. Furthermore, the business network offers another significant business value in the form of stock out prevention and revenue loss mitigation. So By exchanging forecasts with suppliers before any MRP run happens, organizations gain visibility into supplier capabilities and inventory levels. Later, in a live demonstration, we will dive into the specifics of how this forecasting functionality operates. In summary, a well-implemented business network provides tangible benefits such as cost reduction in warehousing, improved collaboration with suppliers, and effective inventory management. So let's go to the next slide. And before I will hand over, I wanted to spend a minute on analytics and data, which I believe will be a key aspect for your company in years to come. So data is increasingly recognized as a valuable resource driving the global economy. It is a new fuel for our economy. When our team and speakers, we all were preparing for the webinar, we wanted to show you something unique, something that you will maybe not see anywhere else. So we prepared a second demo. Right after the forecasting demo, you will see a demo of digital analytics showroom ready for you. It's a beautiful dashboard that is combining and taking all the data from the business network and showing it in a way of a dashboard. It is something that sooner or later in future you will be using on a daily basis. And why is it so? Well, companies that embrace automation will accumulate vast amounts of data that can be leveraged to generate savings and create value. By 2025, it is estimated that the world will produce 463 exabytes of data. So if you don't know what an exabyte is, it's equivalent to the data stored on 212 million DVDs. Daily basis. There's no single person, there's no single Excel file that can, take this all in at one shot. So this will pose an important question. Who owns the data and extracts the data? Who extracts the value from the data? Much of the data that is collected these days remains untapped. So on average, over half of a company's data is considered sort of a dark data, unutilized and unquantified. This is what you can find behind collaboration through a fax, email, or a phone. This dark data that is untapped, you can call it a pigeon data because it flies away from you and you cannot leverage it. So to unlock the insights hidden within this data, CPOs should invest in advanced analytics, a technology that utilizes the immense computing power available today. Advanced analytics can illuminate dark data, identify patterns in complex data sets, draw valuable conclusions, and drive decision-making. Moreover, we all keep hearing about AI revolution that is coming to us. You know what the AI loves? It loves the data. The more data it gets, the better it can serve you now and in the future. So having modern analytics tools can facilitate make or buy decisions by providing cost comparisons with a few simple clicks. It can showcase outliers with high defective rates among your supply base. Typically, this could be measured in parts per million, or you can also look into product prices. So by harnessing the power of advanced analytics, companies can transform their procurement processes, drive efficiency, and uncover valuable insights from their data. So that is all I wanted to cover today. I will stick around to answer some of the questions in the chat. Sridevi, I see you already available. I'm really looking forward to these product demos you have been preparing. Please take it away.
Thank you so much, Prem. Thank you for the in-detailed insights you have shared about the business network for supply chain. Let's deep dive into that, whatever has been discussed until now. Thank you, Nishita. So when coming to, I would like to, repeat myself here and whatever Prem has already discussed and all. The business network for supply chain is a digital collaboration between the buyer and the suppliers, which has many benefits in real time, right? So what are these benefits we are talking about? It is as simple as it improves collaboration, collaboration is all real time now and increases automation. It reduces the manual touches. So the more and more manual touch intervention is reduced, then you save time, you save energy, you save costs. So there are so many improvement ways, right, by collaborating using this way. And it also enhances our end-to-end visibility because everything is like just in a single touch away. We can always control everything in business buyer network as well as supplier network. So everything is just a finger click away. And it also increases the control, right? So we can improve the risk management by, as Prem mentioned already, we can forecast way ahead of time than we need the goods, and we can improve the risk management of stockout situations. We can improve the capacity utilization. And just to boil down the summary of what business network for supply chain has to give is it ultimately reduces the costs. That implies that it increases the margin, right? So that's where it's like giving us some promising benefits out of it by using it. So to come on to the supply chain, business network for supply chain, the product itself has to offer us in the form of a base solution. It offers us purchase order collaboration. It offers return collaboration as part of it, scheduling agreement collaboration, consignment collaboration, subcontracting, and multi-tier collaboration. So, of course, they do have the add-ons, which are forecast collaboration and quality inspection, which is also a very good thing to have, which would help the buyers and suppliers to be on the same page. When coming to purchase order collaboration, I would like to mention it here. What is it, right? So it allows our trading partners to engage in real-time digital collaboration. So it also supports fulfillment and payment transactions. So that way it is easier. And as mentioned before, everything is in our fingertips. It also improves traceability and end-to-end visibility. So as already mentioned by Prem, once the purchase order is created, it goes to the supplier network, and order confirmation is sent by the supplier, and everything is digital here. So there is no manual paperwork or nothing in terms of interaction between buyers and suppliers. So the order confirmation, once that is received by the buyer, right? So then once the goods are ready to be shipped up, ASN is generated. So ASN is nothing but advance ship notice, which can be created only when the order confirmation is sent. So there is this feature which disables the advance ship notice until the order is confirmed. So advance shipping notice is nothing but its purpose is to notify the buyer about the details of the shipment of the goods ordered. So usually, as mentioned, it's enabled only after order confirmation. And of course, multiple advance ship notices are possible because we know in real time that not a whole purchase order is delivered at one time, right? So it can be divided into bits and chunks. So once the advance shipping notice is received, we go and the buyer has to create a goods receipt and send it back to the supplier. So once the supplier receives the goods receipt, so that's a proof that the buyer has already received the goods which were shipped, and the supplier raises an invoice to get paid for whatever goods he has shipped for, right? So can we go to the next screen, please? Next slide, please. Thank you. So now let's deep dive into forecast collaboration. We are just taking one part of the business network for supply chain because it's a vast ocean out there, right? So we cannot, of course, explain everything in 1 hour. So we are just focusing more on forecast collaboration and see what are the advantages of it and how it can be utilized by buyers and suppliers more. In this way, we can just have a gist of what forecast collaboration has to offer to the buyer and suppliers, right? So let's start with it. So in today's volatile supply chain landscape, we know that there are so many disadvantages, sorry. So there is a shipping delay, or like we already saw in the first slide, there is a ship stuck in the canal. So in order to avoid all those volatile situations, what we are doing is, what SAP has to provide is forecast collaboration is providing trading partners with visibility to forecast of critical raw materials and purchase components is it is very essential here. So what is forecast collaboration, right? So forecast collaboration is nothing but it's the process of making predictions of the future based on past and present data. So what it can do is, what is the advantage towards the buyers is buyers send out an order forecast of potential purchase quantities and suppliers confirm and commit against those quantities. So here we can always, we'll be definitely deep diving into it. What does this mean in our demo as well? So that's where I'm going further. The forecast collaboration feature enables suppliers to make commitments to deliver quantities of goods to supply upcoming demands forecast by buyers. So let's form a story over here, right? So we want to connect with everyone in the everyone in the sense, like everyone present over here in our presentation. Thank you for joining us. The region where I am currently, it's summer, right? So in summer, we always tend to stock up on sunscreen because we tend to go out more than often than in winters, right? So that's the reason why we thought, okay, that would be ideal to pick on the product of sunscreen and talk about it, right? So what we do as human beings initially, like, usually we go out, we buy, we stock up on sunscreen and we are ready for summer, right? So similarly, what does let's talk about a big pharma industry here. So what does pharma industry have to do? We start thinking about summer a month ago, but being a pharma industry, it's a huge manufacturing industry, right? So once the pharma industry have to start planning way ahead than like a month ago. So this is what we were talking about. They can forecast it depending on the present and the past data. So what they will do is, here, for example, we are taking Bob as the buyer and we are talking Sam as the supplier. So just for the confidentiality purpose, we are using Bob and Sam. So we just don't want to take the names of the clients. So forecast, let's go ahead. So initially, to start with, what does Bob does, right? So Bob is the buyer who uses Sam as the supplier to package his sunscreen. Sam, the supplier, is responsible for buying the sunscreen packaging from their local supplier. So due to surge of summer vacations, people are heading outside and there's a sudden spike in demand for the popular 16-ounce sunscreen. So while planning globally, Bob the buyer has received a high severity alert that they must adjust their forecast. So what does he do, right? What does he do? Bob, as a buyer, he went ahead and he creates a forecast. So Sam, as a supplier, receives the forecast. So once Sam as a supplier receives the forecast, he has to review the forecast and check on if any deviation is there, right? So for example, in real-time world, there is a situation where suppliers cannot supply all the goods at the same time. So that's a deviation in quantity. Whereas if suppose the price went up or price went down, so there is a deviation in the price. And also there might be a deviation when the delivery date can be met. That means when the goods can be delivered to the buyer. So in this case, the choice is always in hands of the buyer, like what kind of deviations they want to support, whether they want to support only the date deviation, or they want to support all 3 deviations, or they want to support, they can pick and choose, right? So for example, we talked about that there was a deviation. So the supplier, Sam as a supplier, what he does is he updates the forecast and sends back to the buyer. So without the review, the buyer cannot accept the forecast, right? So what Bob the buyer does is he goes and reviews the forecast, what was received by the supplier, and if it's okay with him, then only he goes and approves the forecast. So once the forecast is approved, it goes back to the Sam, the supplier, and Sam, the supplier, has to do the forecast commit. So when forecast commit is done, then Bob the buyer receives the forecast commit and he can plan ahead, right? So he knows that by this date he will be stocked up. So depending on that journey, he can always forecast ahead of time and be ready to mitigate any of the risks which might come in future. So let's go and check on, let's see all of these steps in the system. Let's go through the demo and see how we can all perform the steps for forecast collaboration. Give me a second. Let me quickly share my screen here. So here, Sam the supplier operates out of Southeast Asia. So timing is so critical to check if they can handle the surge and demand. They can see that based on previous forecasts, the demand of the product presents a significant increase for 14 weeks. Bob the buyer opens SAP Integrated Business Planning Workbook to adjust the forecast for the 16-ounce packaging of sunscreen. He increases the previous demand of the sunscreen for the next 3 months by 25% using a simple Excel calculation. Bob the buyer then uses built-in simulation capability with integrated business planning to run a time series based planning heuristic. The system informs Bob the buyer of the new adjusted and demand required each week to meet customers' expectation. Now, Bob the buyer can see the resulting impact to the bulk sunscreen and 16-ounce bottles used for packaging. Since Bob the buyer uses Sam the supplier as its primary supplier for sunscreen and uses the standard integration from IBP to the business network to quickly send the new forecast to Sam the supplier. Sam the supplier uses the SAP Business Network to collaborate with Bob the buyer and several other key customers. Sam the supplier was notified that Bob the buyer has increased the forecast of the 16-ounce sunscreen from its Asia plant. As Sam the supplier opens the forecast view, they can see the current weekly forecast, cumulative forecast change, and much more. Unfortunately, Sam the supplier realizes that they can only supply 2,000 units per week back to Bob the buyer. So this is what is the quantity deviation. The SAP Business Network shows him that there is a supply shortage and he can see the gap visibility using the built-in chart. Sam the supplier then sends his update back to Bob the buyer. Sam the supplier also uses manufacturing visibility to collaborate to his second tier of supply. So Sam the supplier updates Bob the buyer on the daily firm receipts that he is expecting from their supplier. Bob the buyer can also figure any other key planning information that they need to collaborate on with his trading partners. Bob the buyer receives an alert to the potential shortfall of the 16-ounce sunscreen and opens his IPP workbook to review Sam the supplier updates for both the sunscreen and packaging. Bob the buyer runs the optimizer to push the additional forecast to their secondary supplier of sunscreen and proactively avoid a stockout situation. So bottom line is using SAP Business Network planning collaboration, organizations can improve the predictability of supply, reduce excess inventory, and operate a resilient and transparent supply chain. So I would like to hand over the floor to Srini Santhanam. Sorry, before that, let's go ahead with another poll over here. Are you currently using any analytical dashboards in your organization? You can press if yes, no, going to use soon, or would like to use. Let's take a couple seconds for this survey. I think that
Let's
was
give
good
it
time. Shall
10
we give
seconds.
a little bit more? Yeah, sure.
Because I see some answers coming in.
Yeah. It would be fun if we have a timer on here.
We'll put a tracker next time. We'll
Sure.
show the graph moving.
Yeah. Thank you all. I'd like to hand over the floor to Srini. Srini, please go ahead.
This is a good number. I see some pretty good, almost 38% say yes, and like 19% would like to use. Would love to have a conversation if you want to. First of all, thank you, Sridevi, for setting the excellent demo, and Prem for setting up the foundation on what is business network, how that is going to be useful. Now we're going to talk about some of the capabilities, right? Analytical capabilities, how this can be leveraged. More like we will take overall, this is a dashboard. Basically, what you're seeing here, it's built on SAP Analytics Cloud. It's more like user-friendly. We can bring the live version, basically like you can do drill down, drill up, more like kind of like we followed the industry 4.0 standards, basically like it can connect to various devices. Even we have done the demo with some of the IoT live scenarios as well. We will talk some more details there. So, and then what you see is more wireframed, like every blocks can be like rearranged based on the customer preferences, what you want to see. Basically like our alerts can be customized based on your KPI requirements. It's all like within hours of exercise, we can able to deploy this kind of dashboard. So the biggest advantage of this one, you all may be wondering, like there are some predefined dashboards and tools available part of SAP supply chain portfolio. Why there is another tool on top of it, analytical tool? Many times you have like always 80-20 or 90-10 rule follows. Basically like you have primary 90% supply chain operations happening in one system and 10% happening in different places. You need to look at the holistic view. What is my currently like the shipments, my delivery, my forecast, all those things need to be live there. That's what you would be like filtering like more and more aspects there. So certain functionalities like these are all like the numbers, the KPIs, what you see built on like score model. I'm not sure how many of you familiar. Score is an organization. They build like they give the industry standards basically for the supply chain process. Say for supplier commit accuracy, what is the best rate, how it's being measured. So those are all some benchmarks we took from them and we built it on top of it here. Like certain customer key problems on the procurement space and all. What you see is more like an integrated supply chain view. If you look at the purchase order collaboration, what you see here, this is more relevant to this dashboard. The PO collaborations basically tells like your three-way match, what's going on. Because one of the common problem in industry, even multi-billion-dollar companies also, we are experiencing, they don't have a right system to have like a three-way matching. My purchase orders versus my goods received versus my invoice, what's going on, because it has to be matched there due to compliance reason. Say you can drill down as much as possible, like here by material types, and also like you can drill down by kind of like suppliers. So those are all the easy way you can filter there. Basically like you have all those things can be done there. And also it gives a live real time. You don't need to replicate data, not used to be like a traditional analytical model. You have a system to replicate now with all the HANA capabilities and other in-memory capabilities. You can see everything in virtualization concepts. You don't need to physicalize the data models also. So overall supply aspects here, that's a kind of like, if you see here, go to the third tab, please. In the third tab, we have like, what we see here, forecast collaboration. If you change the days of shipment delay, say if you are like a customer, you want to see if I am 10 days delay, what is my projected shipment impact, right? Those are all like, you can easily plug those kind of measures here. And also like all the alerting mechanism, because your true analytical solution should drive the business outcome, right? Say many times you all being used with kind of like historical facts, right? So by using historical fact, you should tell like what need to happen, how my demand accuracy going to be there. Can I change my supply chain process? Can I deliver to Boston instead of California, right? Like that. You need to make all the real-time decisions in live. So that can be done through these kind of analytical dashboard. Even for some of the customers, we did like more data science algorithms as well for demand forecasting accuracy. Basically like for them, like it's another licensed customer. They want to make sure predict the demand more and more accuracy. For them, like we put like Google Trends, and we use some CDC benchmark. We used a lot of other sources of data to bring the accuracy. So they gain the real-time value within 6 weeks of time. They're able to accomplish the business results there. So that's what the power of this analytics. So because the traditional analytics models are gone, you need to make sure the analytical gives a business value. That's what we building more and more kind of KPIs here. You will be seeing there. So we are also incorporating with the Prem slightly touched on it, AI, and we're going with a lot of machine learning algorithms. Also, we are incorporating. We're going to have more like a data scientist working on these kind of measures here. So that's what the entire story about this analytical capabilities, which anybody interested to see more and more detail, we love to have a follow-up discussion and more one-on-one basis here. So with that, Nishita, if you can go to the slide back, we just want to give a feel here because this itself can be a couple of hours session. We have that many KPIs to showcase you. That's what we just want to give a feel here. So with all the things you've seen, what is S2 can offer here, right? So we want to showcase some of the accelerators. We build it there, more like rapid deployment. Next slide, please. So what we call is, SAP, they changed the name supply chain collaboration to the business network for supply chain, like that, all the things. But we have kind of like a wrapper we put together on top of SAP product. So still we want to keep the name same. Whatever we originated, intelligent supply chain collaboration, what it does is digitization of your trading partners, right? You have a consumer packaged goods supplier, you have a packaging, distribution centers, logistics, you all connected network, basically connected business network, right? So how do we bring a value? So what we have done is we build a solution more like a persona based solution for chief procurement officer. What are the key kind of questions can be answered there for chief procurement officer? Say if I am a CPO, I want to reduce my inventory storage there because I don't want to keep too much inventory to affect my costs there. So that's what I cost and my margins, and it goes everywhere, all financial, right? So to keep it more optimized inventory, you need to have a live, what is in and out, you need to have measurement there. So that's a problem with even supply chain directors also. So they want to always make sure their logistics cost is low, right? Even with all the supply chain disruptions happening, they don't want to store the unwanted inventory. At the same time, they want to keep the inventory floating through, right? How do I my increase like the defect rate like that? Certain challenges supply chain directors have. And similarly, if you go CIO, they have a lot of pressure on digitization, right? I want to know what is on my way, because still we're having some conversation with some of the logistics companies. They have a huge challenges on getting where their inventory is lying, because they cannot commit to their customer based on what they procure. When you go to the direct material scenario, what they procure, they have to commit to customer based on that one. So it has a customer thing, then the customer goes to the revenue impact, it keep on going to the different things. So what we have done is we created the package solution, which comes with all the pre-packaged kind of like scenarios, what is based on personas. So that solution, if we go to the next slide, what is in it, we can show there. So if you see here, we have three pillars basically. Like one is like you can pick up the scenarios, whatever, like the PO scenario, the return order, forecast, supplier side, and quality, kind of like some kind of like customers as contract manufacturing. So like that, you can pick up any three scenarios, and we also come with a predefined template there. When you do predefined template, more like the digital, what is the business value you're getting, right? Those are all the business value we talked about. The biggest business value now, CIOs in commitment is they want to see the results in weeks. It used to be like the business transformations and all used to be in years, used to be. Now nobody want to spend their money and effort for years. They want to see what can you deliver within like 12 to 16 weeks or 10 to 15 weeks, like that, right? So we created the ready to deploy accelerators, which comes with a predefined demo. So basically the demo would come completely like tailor-made to the customers, and also comes with the IT architecture alignment, like what kind of best integration is suitable for you. You are a SAP customer, it's okay, we can able to connect it. If you are a non-SAP customer, still we can able to connect it. Even SAC, we have a non-SAP base also, you can connect it, right? And then you have a testing template. We all pre-packaged and bundled offering for you. Comes with this 16 weeks of deployment model. So we kind of like day one itself, you will start seeing the results, end-to-end kind of things there. So that's what, if you want to hear more on this offering, we love to have more one-on-one conversation, and we come with a more 114K, 49K is a packaged offering for as a base price. And then anybody want to like the plus adds up the licensing, we can talk through and some more tailor-made according to your requirements here. So with that being said, like just want to give a little feel who is S2, and we want to give a couple of minutes for you for questions here. Next slide, please. So these are all some of our capabilities. The people who are participating here, we would be sending this deck here. You need to understand what kind of difference we make in the market. So basically, like we deliver the solution based on the business value and KPI driven. How do I like optimize your supply chain process? How do I minimize my 4% of indirect spend? That's what our biggest differentiator in the market. And also more like we deliver based on wherever we follow the sun model, basically like wherever the sun is there, we deliver from that location. And we have a lot of industry focused solutions. And also we have the 5-way relationship with the SAP: sales, services, consulting, build and support. So, and we do have several deployment accelerators, like even beyond Ariba and other portfolio, supply chain portfolio. We do have accelerators for the more like data migration and other qualities skills here. So that's what very high level I want to give a brief who is S2. With that being said, we will pause for questions, please. We're going to open up for the forum for questions here.
Yeah,
you can unmute, Nishita, you can unmute the people who can ask questions here.
Yes. I also see 2 questions in the Q&A section. So.
It's a great question, right? Do you have any seasonality and trend impact in your time series forecasting, right? That can be incorporated, basically. You can incorporate because certain customers, say same license customer flew, right? So during certain seasons only, people flew, getting more and more getting attention. During that time, we can more like the app can be the forecasting can be driven based on the fact of the flu seasons. Yeah, so it is possible there. So, Sridevi, want to take the question, how the forecast collaboration helped the Bob to improve forecasting accuracy, reduce cost, improve speed out to market?
Yeah, sure, Srini. Thank you. Yeah, so here the question is, how has forecast collaboration helped Bob to improve his forecasting accuracy, reduce cost, improve speed to market? So since everything is digitalized, it itself cuts a lot of time in forecasting, right? So the buyer and supplier can contact, or what we can say is they can collaborate much easier, and it's a digital collaboration, so it saves a lot of time. And since they are doing planning way ahead of time, it definitely saves cost. It reduces cost because they are not in a, they can always go do the risk management, right? So they can mitigate the risk of going into stock out situation. And it definitely improves the speed, right? So the supplier is already having the forecast with him, and Sam, the supplier, can always, follow that forecast and deliver the goods. They don't need to like follow up or something, because our business network itself is giving alerts to them, right? So when is the delivery date, or when is like keeping them on track to really meet the delivery deadlines. So that way,
what Sridevi said, for this specific customer, the benchmark is 4 to 8% improved. For them, 4 to 8% is a big number, which saved them multi-million-dollar benefits there. So there are some good business value there. We can discuss in more details in live also. The next question, is this a new SKU or add-on to SEC? Basically, you have to buy the SEC product, and this is more services cost, because we've seen some customers spend like months and months to implement supply chain collaboration. That's what we come with more services bundled offering. You have to buy the base SKU plus the supply chain services offering from us, so that it can be combined there. So.
Okay, so
any other questions?
Any other questions?
Nishita, back to you.
Have any other questions? I hope we answered everybody's questions who typed in their questions in the Q&A section. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It was great having all of you here as part of this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.